how'd you feel about last night? Didn't you feel the same way that they shouldn't have taken him out? You go, well,
No, I was
understand
okay with it. I
Really?
was, yeah, I was okay with it.
Why?
Because they're not playing for this year. They're playing for next year.
Guy's got
you-
a guy's got a one
You
here.
know, they've actually. It seems to me they've made the right moves with Gray so far.
What?
So I'm gonna continue to trust them until they give me a reason not to trust them. The new regime.
They've given us every reason in the world not to trust them.
Well, on the Jon Gray situation.
On the Jon Gray situation? No, they didn't. I want to talk about this. Can we just throw this segment in? This segment's brought to you by my uncle.
Absolutely.
My uncle has a repair business. This segment's brought to you by my uncle. They should have brought Jon Gray up in April.
Why?
So he would be in a situation now where they wouldn't be pitching him 50 pitches or 60 innings.
But who
What
are we to judge that he was ready in April? They watch him every day. They talk to him every day.
Who are you talking about?
They're minor
they?
league people, Bridich, the guys who work under him. I mean, look, what I need to trust Bridich and his guys until they give me a reason
They're the
to not trust
people
them.
that have been here all along.
That's a little bit
It's
different.
not like
and now Bridich is
you
making the
said it
call
was,
instead of deferring to everything O'Dowd and Guyvet tell him. And I know for a fact he disagreed with a lot of what O'Dowd and Guyvet told him. So I'm going to let Bridich do it his way until he shows me he's making a big mistake.
If it were Tony La Russa and it was,
I would trust him.
yeah,
I would trust Tony La Russa.
I don't trust these people are part of the problem, not part of the solution.
Again, if it was O'Dowd and Guyvet, I'd say I don't trust them at all.
Okay, so
I don't know whether or not to trust Bridich yet. I haven't worked with him enough. I haven't watched him in action enough.
Would he have been in charge of Cal Kendrick?
He was.
Did you trust
Come on now, is that fair? General managers don't get it right 100% of the time. And we also don't know how Dick Monfort was tying his hands when it came to going out and buying some pitching.
So the same general manager brought Drew Stubbs back. Wouldn't you agree he's a waste of time?
Yes.
Okay. Well, there's
two. He's not going to get it right 100% of the time.
Rosario, should he have been traded during the offseason before?
Yes. But
I'm not asking for 100%. How about the same that a good batter would have, 33%?
See, I think you're being way too harsh because this guy had never been a general manager before. I don't know that he was ready at the beginning to be a general manager.
You're right.
And
he's ready now.
I think there's a steep learning curve, and I think a lot of those moves were part of the learning curve. And there's going to continue to be a steep learning curve for Jeff Bridich until he gets comfortable, until he gets settled into the job. He's also dealing with a very, very incompetent owner. And we don't know how much meddling Dick Monfort is doing in the everyday affairs of Jeff Bridich.
But that's the whole point. Let me get back to the point with you.
Okay.
As your friend.
What are you saying? You're going to save me here?
No, I'm going to make my point. You keep wanting to trust Bridich. I would have rather that they brought a Tony La Russa type in and said, you run the team.
Oh, me too.
I'm going to get out of the way.
Oh, I'm with you 100% on that.
And guess what Tony La Russa would have done? He would have fired Bridich and all those people that you trust so much because they have proven. How many years?
And probably would have dumped half the roster, too.
I was with someone the other day who's really close friends with one of their executives. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
And I said, why don't they get rid of all those people? I mean, after
15, not how Dick Monfort
17
operates.
Years? Well, that's the point. So you want
what I'm telling you is he still meddles.
Bridich, we shouldn't have been hiring somebody that has a learning curve. You hire somebody that already has gotten past the learning curve.
I'm not arguing with you on that point.
You are.
No, I'm not. If they had gone after a Tony La Russa type, somebody with a track record in baseball, a successful track record, I would have been thrilled with that. But Dick Monfort doesn't know anybody like that. He doesn't know anybody outside of his own organization.
Okay, so
you and I both thought he was out of his mind to not at least bring some people in to get a different viewpoint about how they were operating.
So you're
operates.
accepting of what bothers me because you have the same feeling I do about the Rockies and the ownership, but you're sort of accepting of what they're doing.
I don't know that we have a choice right now. So until he gives me a reason to not trust, look, I'll tell you what will tell the story for me. They just, much like the Ubaldo Jimenez trade, when O'Dowd got 3 young pitchers in return from Cleveland and they were all busts, and that right there told me O'Dowd and Guyvette didn't know what the hell they were doing. This trade for Tulowitzki, for me, will tell the story. They got 3 young pitchers,
okay, so they're all
including a guy they believe will be an ace, a top of the rotation guy. And if they don't work out, that tells me that maybe Bridich and his guys shouldn't be running the show.
So how long is it going to be before?
A couple of years.
So you're willing to give him a 2 or 3 more
Yes.
years. Well, the difference is you're 10 years younger than me, I think.
You don't have the time to wait.
I live in the moment. You're living in another. You're going to spend another 3 years losing sleep
Well, I don't lose
and
sleep.
being pissed.
Being pissed,
and going
yes.
out there and talking to your friends in the dugout and the media people you love so much and all that. Did Bridich come in and like change? He's a general. He's a vice president of baseball operations, correct? Why would he change some of the other things that are wrong there?
Why would he or why wouldn't he?
Why wouldn't he?
Because you've got an owner who overrides almost everything.
But okay, all right.
It's the owner that's the problem.
Hope, it's just me. Would you hope that Bridich fails? That's the only way that
I don't root for people to fail.
you rooted for Dan O'Dowd to fail.
Well, no, Dan O'Dowd failed on his own. He didn't need me to root for him to fail. I rooted for Dan O'Dowd to be fired because he failed.
If Bridich is okay, then you're going to sit here for another 5 years doing the same stuff you've been doing for the last 5 years.
Not necessarily. I think circumstances change. If he makes a lot of Kyle Kendrick, Drew Stubbs, Willeen Rosario moves or non-moves, then I'll start changing, the way I view things. But it's only been 6-7 months since he's had the job. And he did have the cojones to trade the face of the franchise. So if that works out, I'm going to put a little more stock into what Jeff Bridich does. If there are more Kyle Kendrick, Willeen Rosario moves, then that'll change the way I look at him.
Let me say this quietly.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have had to trade the face of the franchise if he had made some good decisions prior to that.
But again, the other part of that equation is we don't know what Dick Monfort allowed him or did not allow him to do.
Didn't make him sign Kyle Kendrick.
No, but he might have said, this is the money I'm giving you to sign a pitcher. This is the payroll. You can't go over this. And what was left? By the time they signed, if you remember correctly, by the time they signed Kyle Kendrick, there was virtually nothing left pitching-wise on the free agent market.
When did he take over?
Oh, boy. You tell me. I don't have a good memory for that stuff.
It was wintertime.
January or February, something.
So when you say,
maybe December.
that was all that was left.
That's all that was left.
But he was there.
There wasn't a whole lot left on the free agent market when he got the job and he went out.
But we would agree, no matter who was left, this was the worst choice.
Well, they also Dick Monfort wasn't going to let him go out and sign
a
big money free agent.
$5.5 million. Don't you think you could have gotten something better than Kyle Kendrick?
These days, that's not a lot of money for a veteran starting pitcher. Not a lot of money.
Well, I didn't say it was a lot of money, but I'm asking you: isn't that the worst choice you could have made?
It was a bad choice.
The guy in his starts was like 3-15.
It was a bad choice, and you and I knew it. We said it.
Again. He's gone.
He was a soft throwing guy who nibbled on the corners.
You're willing to wait around, but you bitch the whole time you're waiting around. I don't want to wait around. Okay, now we're going to. Shanahan Steakhouse was the sponsor of my outrageous comments there. And Shanahan's is our favorite steak restaurant. I'm going to tell you that recently I went to another famous steakhouse in town, and steaks can't compare to Shanahan's Steakhouse. It is the best. The public thinks it's the best. It's been selected by Open Table as one of Denver's finest restaurants. The public has voiced its opinion. We've voiced our opinion. Shanahan's Steakhouse. And I even had somebody say to me the other day that they have the best. My daughter said, Dad, those are the best side dishes I've ever had. She took them home and had them again that night. She didn't wait till the next day. She was thinking about it when she got home. Shanahan Steakhouse, book a reservation today if you want a great meal. He said it the other day. Sure, you can go to Golden Corral or someplace like that. I said that? No, you didn't say that. What you said, what was the word you used? A little pricey.
Yeah.
But you owe yourself.
But worth it.
You deserve to have something that's great. I mean, I see a place that's down the street from me where people go that's not pricey, but it's not any good. Why don't you save for another week and go have a great meal instead of some average kind of meal somewhere? Take your family out. They deserve to go to a great place.
Take your producer. I'd love to have some Shanahans.
Okay, all right.
Or interns.
All right, we're going to take all of you out there.